I hate the word fearless. There's no such thing. I don't care how evolved you are. I don't care, how much that you've done work on yourself or self-help books or whatever, or podcasts listen to. I don't care how much you do. Us humans have fear, and it's a beautiful thing to have fear. It's there to teach us something. It's there to remind us we're alive. Sometimes there really is a good, you need to feel fear because there's really a scary situation, and that's our fight or flight, and we need to make sure that we get out of danger. So fear is not a bad thing, and fear, when looked at properly, can really, really teach us that soul personality, that soul that knows who we are, that knows our purpose, that knows where we need to go, that just is that North Star, right? That guiding light. So there's really only love and fear. And when you start to understand this as a human, when you start to realize, when you consciously think about how am I going to approach this situation from a place of love or a place of fear, that's where the difference comes. That is where I want anyone watching this to really understand, is that we have that choice, because what I believe really makes us humans on this planet, different from any other living thing on this planet, what makes us humans in the flesh is that we have the power to transform energy. We have the power at any moment to transform energy. And scientists have probably tried to prove this in various different ways. They probably tried to say that, well, humans are humans because we have language and we can communicate. Well, we now know animals can communicate with us in their language. And I really, really, really believe that the superpower that us humans have, that no other living thing on this planet has, is the ability to transform energy. And when we understand that at any moment, we can choose hope over despair, and we can choose possibility over entitlement, we start to understand that fear doesn't really have to have a hold on us. So let me give you an example of this. And again, fear is so good. Like, it can be really juicy when you learn to really embrace it as, what is this trying to tell me? And how can I make a choice from a loving place? So when I first started my opportunity as basically becoming an entrepreneur for the first time, like, I was going to start my own business, had no idea how I was going to do what I was being asked to do. I now sit here in front of you as a leader of over 15,000 men and women globally, selling millions and tens of millions of dollars a year in makeup and skincare. So I run a multi-million dollar organization. And I just described to you the broken, lost life that I was living that others were expecting of me, right? So how do I get from that to this, right? Because boy, did that involve a lot of fear, right? When I first started helping the founders of my company to build their vision, their mission, which their mission was to really build makeup and skincare direct sales company to bring pro makeup and professional, free of harmful chemical skincare to everyday women. So the model was that this was makeup that stars have loved and used for decades on Hollywood sets and all of, Broadway and TV sets. I mean, you name one of your favorite celebrities and they have adorned this makeup, but it was never available to everyday women. And so their idea was just to simply repackage the best of the best in pro makeup and bring it to everyday women so that they can use what the stars have been using. That was the vision, but the mission was so much bigger than me. The mission was, how can we show women their worth? How can we build true financial female empowerment? Whew. How me? Me? How I'm gonna help other people feel empowered? I'm going to be some sort of example of this female financial empowerment when I just explained to you I either needed to claim bankruptcy or put my home in foreclosure. I mean, FEAR, okay? FEAR, like capital letters, imposter across my forehead, because this was not me. This was not me. So these were also words that I didn't grow up with, by the way. Like, I didn't grow up with words like empowerment or dreamer or you can be in control of your life or you get to create, an inspired future. You get to dream about things that you want and then actually believe that, yeah, I can do that. I just didn't grow up with that kind of language. And again, not good, bad, right or wrong. It just wasn't my experience of what I grew up with. Kind of the messaging was you find a man who's going to give you the life you want. Do a good job until you meet the man that's going to give you the life you want, because that's just was the generation. So when I first started this job, and again, had no idea how I was going to do what they were asking me to do. And because of the financial situation I was in, I needed control. I wanted control so bad. I wanted to know, how is this going to work? How is this going to end up? I needed to know where this was going to be headed. Where like I needed to see results. Like, I needed evidence that this was going to work. And I had a severe need to control it. And this was the first sort of time that, clearly my personality was not connected to my soul. My personality was in a place of fear. Not conscious, okay? I thought, this is what I need to do. I got to control this. I've got to control this. I've got to prove that they picked the right person. I've got to prove that what they see in me is really real. Like, that really is who I can be. So I was operating from a place of incredible fear and an incredible need to control things. This was the first moment in my life where, as you can imagine, nothing was working. Nothing I was doing was working. And I was doing the things. I was showing up. I was sharing these amazing products. And let me tell you, there is nothing better than the products that I represent. Nothing. And I don't even say that with an ounce of hesitation. And I am biased, obviously, because I represent the brand, but I would not represent this brand if it wasn't the best of the best. And it is truly the best of the best. But even though I had the best of the best products, and I was doing all the things that I had read about, heard about, been coached to in order to be successful in the business I was in the industry I was in. I was doing all the things. I was doing the in-home parties. We didn't have Facebook Live, and social media really wasn't as it is today back then. So there was not really much of an online presence, but I was showing up. I was going to network. I was doing all the things, guys, all the things. Nothing was landing. Nothing was working. This is when I first learned about the power of a human being to transform energy. And this is what I want you to realize when moments of fear, moments of struggle, circumstances show up in your life, is that you have that power to transform that energy. You have that power to transform that fear to something of possibility, to something of hope, okay? And so I transformed that energy of need to control, need to know how this is going to all pan out, to surrendering. I surrendered that need to control. I changed that energy to a place of love and light and possibility. And I surrendered. And I started to tell myself, and this became my mantra, and it is still my mantra to this day, it is not in the how, it is in the allow. And I showed up every day and I just loved all over this opportunity. I loved all over it. I started to live the mission. I started to see the vision. I started to simply share these products from a loving and free place. And guess what happened? They started to come. I was the top seller in the company that year. I was the top recruiter in the company that year. Now, mind you, we didn't have very many people yet in the company. We didn't have very many people in the company yet. But I was blowing it up because I was not in a place of fear. I was in a place of love. And I was fully aware of the power of my energy and fully aware of the power as a human to transform that energy at any given moment.